guys, so here's my story. As I announced, I shall now perform for you. My childhood best friend was deathly afraid of two things. One was large open bodies of water, and the second was giant trees. And this is information I wish I would have had before we found ourselves in Canada. Land of water and trees. I had never brought anyone on a family vacation. In fact, no one in my family had ever brought an outsider with us on a family vacation, and that's because we had like a lot of stuff to kind of keep under wraps, and we didn't want to expose that. At the time, my dad, he's fine now, so don't get worried about it, but he loved a touch of the bottle, he's pretty much a full-blown alcoholic, but yeah, livers! But he was like a quirky drunk, so like, he never would beat us or anything, but he would just like come up and be like, Les, for the next 7 years, I'm eating ice cream only with knives. And then he would do that. Like, that's what he would do. So that's my dad. And then my mom, at the time, was getting super religious, and she would come up to me and she would say, Leslie, I know that I can walk on water. I don't do it. Because I don't think your father would understand. And then that was my mom. And my sister, when she thought no one was looking, she would, one by one, take strands of her hair and just run them through her finger, and then pull it out and put them on the floor. And she did that until she was actually, it's not funny, but until she was bald and she had to wear a wig. So this is why we didn't invite people to go on family vacation. But one year my mom was like, I think you need an outside influence in your life. Why don't you invite a friend? And I was like, oh, I'm going to invite my best friend, Carissa. So I invited her and she said yes. And we find ourselves in Canada at this cabin we would go to every year. And we're getting the cabin cleaned up, and the rest of my family makes their way into town, and it's just me and Carissa at the cabin, and I was like, we should take the boat out into the water. And we had this, it was like, you couldn't even really call it, it was like a secondary boat, but it should have been recalled. It should have never been made. It was a large, rectangular, flat-bottom, plastic boat. It's like if you took the container from a Hungry Man dinner, put a motor on it, and sent someone out to sea, that's what it was. And so she was like, okay. So we get in the boat, and that's when she tells me, I should have brought this up. I'm deathly afraid of water and trees. And as a good friend, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to exploit that. Let's get the motor going, and we just set off, and we're going around, and she's like kind of hanging in there, and I take us out into open water, which we were totally like prohibited from doing. And this lake is huge. It has over 10,000 islands in it. It is massive. So we get out of the bay, and it's just white caps, white caps, white caps, and I was like, that's what we're going into. Whee! So we go and like we hit the waves and pop up and hit the waves and pop up, and she is freaking out, and she goes, I want to go back, I want to go back. And uncharacteristically, I listened to her, and I was like, okay, let's go back. I turned the boat to go back to the cabin, and she goes, wait, let's go out one more time. Famous last words. You say that, no one's coming back. No one is coming back when you say that. So we go out and we hit the waves and pop up and girls on a boat, you know. And we hit this wave, and we hit the wave. This wave comes up, over, into the boat, slams into the boat, and now it is completely filled with water, and we are going down. And I take this instant checklist. I was like, okay, we have a dead motor. Nobody knows where we're at. We're completely filled with water. Oh, and now I conveniently remember Carissa doesn't swim, and there are no life jackets. because I'm a friend, I jump out of the water-filled boat and start swimming to an island. I go, we're gonna swim to the island, and she's just going down, going down. Like in that moment, I thought that she would get like self-esteem and athletic ability. And then I stopped. I was like, no, must save friend. So I swim back. I was like, you have to get out of the boat. You have to. It's gonna capsize. And she just like walrus lobs out. Into the water. Now she's drowning. This may be a weird time to mention the band Nirvana, but it was the 90s and she was a fan of grunge. And it was, even though it was 80 degrees out, she has a flannel shirt on, giant corduroy pants, these Converse shoes with socks, and it's just soaking all the water up and just pulling her down, pulling it out. And so I have this brilliant idea, oh, she should take off her pants. But I don't say that like as a suggestion, I just go, take off your pants, take off your pants! Like in any other situation, super predatory. This, I think it's helpful. Takes off her pants, they go down to the bottom. Shoes go down to the bottom. Now she's half naked, holding on to the side of this capsized boat. Then we just bob. For like an hour. Like, I don't know if you've ever bobbed for an hour. It's about as much fun as it sounds. And then every once in a while we're bobbing, she would just like gently weep. And then she would say, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. And I'm like, what is she? You don't even have pants on. And then finally I was just like, what is so heavy? And she goes, my pad. It's soaking up all the water like a sponge. I was like, I have a grounding that's gonna last me a lifetime, a capsize, but I don't have time for woman problems right now. In that moment, for years, there was a plank of wood, though, on the bottom of this boat, and there had been a tiny air horn lodged there. We could never get it out. I swear, I look over, floating, is this air horn that has finally come out. And I was like, we're saved! I know the codes! And I grab it and I go, out of there! I am going to die with my half-naked best friend on family vacation. Finally, we see this boat, the first boat that we've seen, come out, and we are just screaming, we're waving our arms, you know, help us, help us, help us. And they finally come. Now this is a really, really small town in Canada. It's so small. There's not a lot of dudes there, let alone like good-looking dudes. The most handsome Canadian man I have ever seen comes up with his boat. He's like, what seems to be the problem? He's like, and then he goes, what the hell kind of boat is that? I'm like, oh, it's a hungry man. And so he reaches, like very cinematically, he reaches into the water and pulls me out, and I emerge like, ah, and he puts me in the boat, and then he goes to get Carissa, and he lifts her up, and he gets halfway, and he just goes, whoa, and just drops her on the side of the boat, and it's just her ass, just swaying in the breeze. And also, I didn't know what kind of underwear she had on. Ladies, I'm sorry, and dudes, you might know this too. It's just when you have your period, the giantest underwear, like SpongeBob underwear. It has bears holding little nets, catching butterflies. I pull her into the boat. He gets our boat onto his, and he starts bringing us back. And then every once in a while, just out of nowhere, Chris is just lying on the bottom of this boat. And every once in a while, she turns in the beautiful Canadian's direction. She just goes, "Thank you, thank you." Like gratitude Tourette. Just every once in a while, sporadically, "Thank you." And then we get to our dock, and the Canadian goes, I really think I should talk to one of your parents. To which I'm like, I don't think you really want to do that. But I go up, and I don't know where my mom was, probably on a pilgrimage. And my dad was passed out, but I gingerly wake him up. I was like, Daddy. I was like, there's a man who wants to speak with you. Right at that instant, Carissa just walks in, drenched with this like swollen man bulge, and just goes, I'm so sorry, Mr. Goshko. And just walks, like no explanation, just walks through with no pants, drenched. And somehow in my dad's wonderfully booze-filled mind, he was just like, I get it. Like, I get it. We didn't get in trouble at all. Like, he never really brought it up again. It was just like, it's family vacation. First and last time I was ever allowed to bring a friend up with us. So that is my story. Thank you.